Good morning from the Rain Dance Ranch. Today I want to talk about this moss rose plant. Look at how amazing this looks. This is September 5th, 2021, and this thing has been growing in this pot all summer long. I believe I put these as cuttings essentially in that pot back in May, and it has just proliferated in here. There weren't very many of them, and in the it's been looking great since the beginning of July. It just took about a month and a half to really start filling in this pot, and I wish I had put more in it, because as you can see, I actually did have more in it, but there's animals. I don't know what, something got in here and was digging around in this pot all around on this side. I had some tulip or iris bulbs in here, I can't remember what, and I think there's still a few in there. And I hear that some animals, it's like they know they're in there and they dig for them. I don't know. I have no idea. I never really figured out what was in there, but we get a lot of rabbits and cats and God knows what, birds. But we have a lot of rabbits. At first I thought it was rabbits, and then I heard that it could be other animals. And I live real close to a desert preserve, the Phoenix Mountain Preserves, and we've had a lot of like bobcat or some kind of wildcat sightings and coyotes and things in people's backyards. So I can imagine they've been to my yard as well. But just look at how amazing these flowers are. I will have to find out the specific name for this one. They do have some specific names. The bees like it. The butterflies like it. So this is a really good one to plant over the summer, if you're slowing down with, oh look, is that a butterfly or a moth? I don't know. We have a lot of moths. That looks like a butterfly. I don't know any moths that look that pretty or have that pretty yellow color. I don't know if that showed up on the video. But this is a good one to put in any of your planting areas that you are sort of retiring for the summer, to, keep the soil healthy. I don't know if it's a nitrogen fixer or a nitrogen sucker, but I am of the belief that planting something over your soil, if you're not going to mulch on top of it while it's resting or waiting for the next growing season, is a good idea. And also keeping up with having a beautiful farmscape, this would definitely work for the desert farmscape. Now, my understanding is these are not edible. There is one variety of moss rose that is edible, and it has a pink flower, and I may have one of those popping right now. So I am going to be collecting seed from this bad boy and keeping the yellow seed separate from the multicolor seeds. And then when the pink ones pop up, I'm going to save those separately as well. So basically what happens when you buy moss rose as seed, it comes in like a multicolor mix. Like every seed, there's like 5 or 6 different types of moss rose. And then this is what becomes of it. This was a beautiful rainbow of fruit flavors every morning up until about June. Well, it still has been getting flowers, but basically in May, June, maybe a little bit into July, this thing was just gorgeous every morning. Just beautiful. I absolutely enjoyed it. And I don't know if it's not blooming as much and looking sort of sad like this because there's too many plants. Like I should have thinned them out, and I'll show you why I think that's a possibility in a minute. But I think it's a combination of that and the varieties. There's for whatever reason, the yellow did not take over. But when I planted these, I planted them, I think I had just taken cuttings from this and stuck them in there. And the yellow ones just proliferated. I don't know. I just feel like it's just, you know, the luck of Mother Nature. So yeah, so this is what this looks like. And this, again, still gets flowers, but there'll be like 2 or 3 every so often. And again, it's always in the morning. And these have been going until, you know, 11 o'clock or noon. And then they fold up. And then I think they will unfurl again the next morning. And I don't know for how many days this will go on, but yeah, they're just awesome. I just look at that. Look at the centers. I can't tell what's going on. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so let's go take a look at some of my other moss rose. We're gonna follow the hose. So here, okay, so I do have this pink one, but I don't think this pink one is the edible kind. But I do believe that the edible ones were included in that seed pack. But you can see how the yellow ones are starting to kind of take over here. Here, wait, I guess I'm getting in the shadow there, making a shadow. And then we've got some multicolor ones, but just the yellow ones are just really super happy. And I think these are staying greener because there's a lot more air in there. They're not as tightly packed in. But I gotta tell you, they look amazing in like June, packed in. No problem. Okay, let's see. Hopefully this isn't too shady of a spot here. I've got another one over here, and this one I allow it to get a little more shade. And you can see some of the other colors. So those don't look too super amazing, but you know, I'm always grateful for every single flower. So yeah, so oh, here's some that, these took forever to finally come in, and I've been keeping this in the shade too. I'm just experimenting and seeing what happens with different conditions. But this is really starting to shape up, this container. I planted these from cuttings a year ago in this pot. And they were starting to look good in the spring, and just sometime in the last month, they look like they've been growing there forever. Like, I can't believe how wonderful those elephant foods did. And this is, I call this a tropical smoothie agave because they're smooth all along the edge. And they do get little needle spikes on the tips, and that's it. So if you happen to have one of these and you want to keep the little spikes trimmed off, you could do that. Right now they're still very soft. This is probably my favorite agave, and it's called Agave Desmetiana. And It has a wonderful growth habit. And I got this from a pup last spring, and it was very small, and it's doubled in size at least. And next year it'll be real full in here, and it'll be surrounded by this elephant food, and then I've got some little spaces here I can tuck annuals in, or some kind of edible herbs or something. And the nice thing about all of these plants in here is they can take a little extra water, and you can forget to water them for a while, and they kind of like that. In fact, I like to let them dry out a little bit every now and then. Or sometimes I'll just water them a little bit every day, and then sometimes I'll give them a little extra water. They're just great. And all of these should do okay in full sun as well, or with a good amount of sun. But I really want to make sure that these don't get burnt. They can still get a little overstressed in the sun. But look at what a nice combination the portulaca is. I wish this was filled out like that yellow one over there. And maybe I should start putting it out in the sun in the mornings a little bit more. But yeah, so that is the moss rose, which is a portulaca plant. And I believe the elephant food is portulaca as well. And of course, agave is agave. But yeah, definitely a good plant. These are all great plants for the desert farmscape. And I will be collecting the seeds, so definitely be sure to check out my website for the availability on those seeds, because I will be selling them. Thank you. Thanks for coming to the Rain Dance Ranch. When it rains, go out and dance. Have a great day.